Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we will guide you through the integration of Jenkins with Nexus, SonarQube, and Tomcat, all set up on Amazon EC2 instances. Let's get started. First, we need to sign in to AWS Console Management. We need to launch an Amazon Linux 2 instance with AT2.micro type. Named as Jenkins with an image of Amazon Linux 2 with key pair created, and make sure to open ports 8080 and HTTP in your security group settings and allocate 20 GB of storage to avoid the node offline problem. After launching the instance, wait for the status check initialize and completed, then we will connect the instance. After the status checks got completed, we are going to connect the instance using mobextrem with help of public IP address username as EC2 user and POM key which we created while launching an instance. And we have successfully connected the instance. And we have to update the OS by running the following commands to access the root and update. After updating the OS, let's start installing the Jenkins. First, we need to install Java Runtime Environment. Then we need to download and import the Jenkins repo to our yum module to install the Jenkins by using the wget and rpm. After importing the repo, and we need to update the Linux to apply the changes. Now we can able to install the Jenkins from the imported repo to our Linux. After the Jenkins installed, and we need to enable and start the Jenkins service to access the page. After the starting the Jenkins, we can also check the status with the following command. Now we have successfully installed and started the Jenkins on EC2 instance, and we can access the Jenkins using the instance IP address with the port 8080. After access the Jenkins, then we can get the initial password by copying the file path and use cat command to get the password from instance. Copy the password to continue to set up the Jenkins. Meanwhile, we will continue with installing the Nexus on another EC2 instance with T2.medium and make sure the 8081 port opened. After launching the instance, we will connect the instance and update the Linux by accessing the root. After updating the Linux. Now we will install the Nexus with help of Docker and pull the Nexus image from the Docker registry. After installing and starting the Docker and search Nexus image by using the Docker search command to show the image related to that keyword. After the search results appeared, select the SonarQube Nexus 3 image to install the Nexus on the instance. And use the docker run command to run the container with selected image, and P is used to redirect the port to 8081. To verify the Nexus container is running or not by using the following command. This show the container is created and running with the Nexus image with port 8081. Now we can access the Nexus portal with the Nexus instance IP address with 8081 port. If the container is running and Nexus page is not appeared, no need to worry, just reload the page until page gets appeared. After reloading the page several times, the Nexus is appeared. After the page appeared, now we need to get the initial password. For that, the password we need to log into the Docker container with Docker executive it command and the container ID and the bin bash argument. Here it means interactive terminal for the container and argument for executing the shell script. After login to container, copy the file path from login box, get the password for admin user. Copy the password until before bash. After login to Nexus and give the password whatever you like, and remember it. Here I have given the password as admin. Now we have successfully installed and started the Nexus on instance with help of Docker. Let's start the installations of Tomcat on the another instance. First we need to launch a new instance with t2.micro as instance type and using the Amazon Linux 2. and with security group used which we have created for Jenkins with SSH and all traffic. After launching the instance, we will connect the instance in the mobxterm same as previous instance and run the command for updating the Linux. After the updated the Linux, firstly we need to install Java runtime environment. After installing the Java, then create a directory named opt and get into the directory. And now we will get the Tomcat latest download link for installation of Tomcat from official website of Tomcat. And then we will use the wget command to download the Tomcat zipped file and we will unzip the file. After unzipping the file and change the directory to bin and change the permission of the startup and shutdown to execute permission. And hard link the startup and shut down the service to user in Tomcat up and Tomcat down. After linking the services and go back to the directory. And go to the editor of shown path and comment the line as shown in the video. After commenting the lines in the files and go to conf directory and configure the Tomcat port connection in server.xml and add the role for manager and admin role in the tomcatusers.xml. After the configuring the Tomcat server connection and users, go to the Tomcat directory, then go to bin and start up the Tomcat. After Tomcat started, go to the browser and copy the Tomcat instance IP address and paste in the address bar and enter the 8090 port to access the Tomcat and use the manager app with username and password as admin. Now we have successfully installed and running Tomcat. Now let's start with installation of SonarQube on the EC2 instance. We will launch the instance with Amazon Linux 2 and T2.medium as the instance type with same security groups as Jenkins instance and allocate the 15 GB of storage. After launching the instance, then we will connect the instance with Mobexterm. After connected the instance, then access the root and update the Linux. Firstly, we need to install the Docker and enable and start the Docker. And Docker run command that pull the SonarQube LTS image with port 9000. After starting the SonarQube container, and we will verify that the container is running or in exited state by using the docker ps a command. After container started, we can access the SonarQube with instance IP address and port 9000. After accessing the Sonar, login into SonarQube using the username and password as admin. After login into SonarQube, provide the old password and new password to change the password. Now we have successfully installed and set up the SonarQube. After installing the all tools in individual instances, first we need to set up Jenkins username and password as admin. Now let's configure the Jenkins with Maven, SonarQube, Nexus and Tomcat. After Jenkins got ready, then go to Manage Jenkins and then Tools and go to the Maven section and add Maven installer. After adding the Maven installer, and remember the tool name so that we can declare the tool in the pipeline script. Then go to Plugin Manager and download the following plugins. These 4 plugins that we used for integration. Maven integration is for build the Java projects using pom.xml file. Nexus Artifacts Uploader is for upload the WAR files to Nexus repo. SonarQube Scanner for quality gates analysis for the code. Deploy to WAR is for deploy the WAR file to Tomcat or Glassdoor containers. After that, go to the tools in Manage Jenkins for add the SonarQube installer. After adding the installer, remember the name so that we can declare the tool name properly in the pipeline. Now we need to create the credentials for Nexus, Tomcat and SonarQube for configuration of these tools with Jenkins. And we have installed the Nexus and Tomcat with same username and password for both tools. I have created the single credential for the connection with Jenkins. Now we have created the credentials for Tomcat and Nexus. But for creating the credential for SonarQube is to be used different kind of secret text. For that text we need to generate the token in the SonarQube page. In SonarQube page go to administration, under this go to the security, there in users we can create the token for SonarQube to configure with Jenkins. After generating the token, then copy the token and paste in the Jenkins credentials. Now go to Manage Jenkins and then go to the system and create the SonarQube environment by giving the SonarQube IP address with port and mention the credential ID which we have created. Now we have successfully configured these tools that we have installed with Jenkins. Let's start with writing a pipeline for Git checkout, build, SonarQube analysis, artifacts uploader and deploy into Tomcat. Firstly, we need to create a pipeline job, and we can have your own job name, but I have named as deploy as job name. Pipeline script always starts with pipeline with opened and closed flower brackets with a mentioned agent. This agent will be used to select node to run the job, but for this job I have given as any because I haven't created any slave for that Jenkins. Later tools which we are using will be declared as I have mentioned in the scripts. Later stages will start where all actions has to performed by Jenkins will be declared separate stage. For the first stage will Git checkout. This stage is used to clone the code and pom.xml from given repository and particular branch. We can get the scripts with help of Jenkins pipeline syntax, where it will be located just below the script box. In that, select Git to get the syntax for Git checkout stage by providing the GitHub repository link and branch. Here when we provided the repo link has an error appear, means there is connection error between GitHub and Jenkins. This will rectify by installing the Git in the Jenkins instance. After installing the Git in the instance, the error will be disappear when we provided the link. After providing the required details in the respective blocks, then click on the Generate Pipeline. After generated script, copy the script and paste into the pipeline under the script block in the stage block. Then the second stage is to build the project using Maven tool, which was declared starting of pipeline. The Maven tools will be automatically detect the pom.xml and start building the project. This stage will be code analysis by helping SonarQube quality gates. From pipeline syntax, we will get the Sonar environment syntax by selecting the with Sonarin from the drop-down menu. Copy the generated pipeline syntax, paste into the pipeline syntax. And in the Sonar environment, remove the credential ID and provide the environmental variable name which we have given the system configuration. From there, the Jenkins will access the SonarQube server with provided credentials in system settings. In the environmental block, we will mention the Sonar tool path and project name and project key to create the project in SonarQube. For accessing SonarQube tool for that environment variable, there we will mention the SonarQube tool that we have added the SonarQube installer. Before going to write the pipeline script for the Nexus artifacts uploader. Firstly, we need to create the Nexus repository, and we building the project using Maven, so we need to create the repository type as Maven hosted with your own name, but I have given the repository name as artifacts. This the Nexus repository as artifacts. We can see the empty repository. After creating the repository, now we are going to write the pipeline script for the Nexus artifacts uploader. We can get the syntax from the pipeline syntax as similar as Git, but we will select the Nexus artifact uploader and provide the Nexus version, IP address, credentials, artifact ID. In advanced option, we will provide type of file that we are uploading, group ID, version number of artifact, but we have given the dynamic value as build number as version number and war file path as given in the script. After providing the required value in the respective block, and then click on the Generate Pipeline script. After generating the script, copy and paste the script in the pipeline block. Let's write the pipeline script for the deploy the web application into the Tomcat. The script starts with mentioning the stage name as deploy the WAR. We will get the syntax from the pipeline syntax as the Nexus uploader, but we will select the deploy to the containers and providing the required details in respective blocks to get the syntax. After generating syntax, copy and paste the syntax into the pipeline in the deploy stage. After pipeline script got completed, click on Save and build the job. Once job was built, if we got error, we will get details of error in console output. We got an error in the stage and sorry to write the steps block in the every stage, and we need to correct the indentation of bracket of pipeline, stages, stage, steps and scripts blocks, and we need to check the give enough closed brackets that we are open for the above mentioned blocks. After correcting the indentations, open brackets and closed brackets, then click on Save and build the job. While building the job, we can look into the build process from the console output. In the console output, we can the stages of Git is clone the code from repository. Maven is downloading the dependencies for the project from the Maven central repository using pom.xml and build as package with a WAR format. SonarQube will run code quality checks in the SonarQube server with project name as web. Nexus tools will upload the artifact into the Nexus repo that we have created with web app ID. Deploy to container plugin will deploy the web application into the Tomcat. After pipeline job got successfully finished, we can go to the Nexus webpage and we can see the artifacts that we have uploaded through the pipeline scripts. Same as Nexus, we can the SonarQube webpage and select the project which we have created as web through the pipeline and check the code quality was pass or not. At last, we can check into the Tomcat that the web application is deployed or not by refreshing the Tomcat page. The Maven web application is deployed. That's it. We've successfully integrated Jenkins with Maven, Nexus, SonarQube, and Tomcat. For more detailed commands and scripts, check out the description below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tutorials.